Hey, what's going on, everybody? Isaac here. So, I posted a short video of this Komwero fixed blade knife, and I received a comment on that video. Is this better than the Buck 119? And I'll be honest, better is kind of a subjective term. Better or what? So I figured, let's get both of these knives out. Just wiping some stuff off of this one, and let's compare the two. So let's put this one back in its sheath, and we'll start from there. Because, like I said a minute ago, better is relative. It all comes down kind of what your preferences are, your likes, dislikes, and your use, how much you're going to use it, what your budget is like. There's so many things, so many factors that go into choosing a knife. So let's look at these. They're roughly about the same size. It looks like the Komwero's a little bit taller. Now, once we get the blades out, I think the blades are roughly about the same size. So maybe this handle's just a little bigger. But as you can see, Komwero is Kydex with a tech lock. And the Buck 119 is black leather with a belt loop and snap closure. So, what's better, Kydex or leather? Personally, I prefer leather over Kydex. I just like it. That doesn't mean it's better. I just like it better. Now, if we go in terms of better material, this would probably be more water and weather resistant with the Kydex than a leather. But I think this has some sort of treatment on it, and you can oil your leather to make it more water resistant and that type of thing. So really, I think that's a toss-up to your personal preferences. I mean, a lot of this is going to be a toss-up for that, but especially the sheaths. So let's get the blades out. Here's the Buck 119. It's got a nice clip point blade. And here is the Komwero. It's got, we can call it a modified clip point because it's not really a drop point. It's definitely, more of a clip point. We'll say it's a modified clip point. And we can see here the blade lengths are about the same at 6 inches. Maybe this is 6 1/4 or something. You will see that the Komwero is wider. Now, handles. Very different. Let's see here. The Buck 119 is big and bulbous, while the Komwero is much thinner. Let me see if that lighting is okay for y'all. Right. So, again, that's also personal preference. I can go either way with a thin or thick grip. I feel like I do have to maybe grip a little tighter on like the knives with thinner grips like the Komwero, whereas this feels comfortable in like a looser grip because it's more bulbous and fills out the palm of your hand more. And you don't have to, hold on as tight because, you don't have to wrap your fingers as far around on the Buck. And it's comfortable. Both are fine handles. The material. Buck makes this out of a material called phenolic. It's hard synthetic. I've heard some people say it's the same material that a bowling ball is made out of. So definitely, it's definitely tough. You know, those bowling balls rolling down the wood floors and knocking over pins all the time. This is G10, and it's got some texture on there. So I would say G10 is a higher quality material, and you get these grooves here to improve your grip, while this is just very smooth. Now, the handle shape, in my opinion, provides the grip of your knife, the ergonomics of the handle, not necessarily the handle material. And the buck does that. As you can see, there's some slight finger grooves here that really give you a nice hold on this knife. The next thing we could talk about is blade material. Buck, in this version, the standard version you can find everywhere, they use 420HC steel. Now, it's not a high-end steel. It's just not. It's a budget steel. Buck is famous for heat treating it well, so you're getting the finest quality of 420HC that you will get from any maker when you buy from Buck. However, if they used a higher quality steel, which they do in their pro versions of this, and still give it their world famous heat treatment, then you got a far superior knife. Now, this is made in D2, which is most would say a higher quality tool steel. This is known, a tool steel, it's got some toughness, and they can make this extra hard. I do not know what the Rockwell hardness is on this knife, but let's just assume it's between 58 and 61. All right, because it's pretty typical for D2. It's not unheard of. So this should hold an edge very well. A lot of people say D2 is hard to sharpen because of that higher hardness on the Rockwell scale. Whereas this will be much easier for you to sharpen. All right, so that can be a plus. Do you want to be able to sharpen your knife on some type of field sharpener that you can carry with you when you're out on a hike or camp or hunting, because this is a hunting knife? Or do you have to bring it home to your bench stones where you have all your high quality sharpening equipment? Those are things you got to think about when choosing a knife. Or maybe you won't have to resharpen this one as much, since it'll hold a good edge. Now, cost. This Buck Model 119 runs for $75 pretty much everywhere at this point in 2024, whereas this is, last I checked, it was like $44 on Amazon. So for $30 less, you're getting, I would say, a superior steel in the instances that I mentioned, and one could say a finer handle material. I think a big factor for a lot of people, this is made in America, whereas this is made in China. Now, as far as that goes, the Chinese knives these days have a lot of high quality stuff. So if you're gonna harp about Chinese made, Chinese junk, while there is a lot of it, there's a lot of manufacturers and brands who are making pretty good quality blades out of China. So really, it's just a political concern on wanting to support made in America or wanting to support made in communist China. And, I go back and forth with that a lot in my own knife buying. I don't like buying a lot of knives from China. Sure, I own plenty of Chinese-made blades, but my preference is to buy American. Now, another point here is collectability. This is one of the most famous knives, most popular knives of all time. You're going to see these around for years. They've already been around for like 80 years. Have you ever even heard of Komwero? Not unless you've watched my videos or Legion Tactical Cutlery's videos. You've never heard of them, right? But yeah, everybody's heard of buck knives. So collectability and like adding a collector value, monetarily speaking, over the years, nobody's going to care about this knife. My prediction, anyways. No one's going to care about this. They're a little known company out of China who makes some pretty cool and quality blades. But you're just not going to get, people asking, let me see some Buck 119s. Yeah, that's a legendary special knife. My 2 cents on that. So that really brings us to the end here. So is the Komwero better than the Buck 119? That's for the eye of the beholder. Both are cool knives, good knives, but the Buck 119 just has that classic cool factor, that wicked clip point blade there. And you can get these anywhere. As far as I know, you can only buy a Komwero knife on Amazon. So some people don't like shopping on Amazon, so you're not going to get a Komwero. But you can go so many places and get a Buck 119, like a mile down the street from my house at Walmart. They have it every day. So there you have it, folks. Hope you enjoyed this video of the Komwero versus a Buck 119 special. Take it easy. Till next video.